That's a very good description. So is there anything else that you want to add to your case history? It sounds like we just discussed your peak experience. Um, and is there anything else that you want to add to this record?
Yes, this is what happens when I practice absorptive.
Meditation or shamatha meditation or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Okay, and then you have another style of meditation that produces other phenomena, and apparently it's mantra oriented, and different mantras produce different phenomena. And to tell you the truth, I'm not particularly interested.
not not different mantras produce
Okay,
different
okay.
phenomena. However, okay, for example, I can listen this noise. Uh, I do not need to practice absorptive meditation to
Hear the
bring
noise.
it to the forefront of my
Okay.
consciousness. I could actually, instead of doing that whole absorptive scene, I will
Okay.
just, and I will, I can, that can be a gateway to meditation for me. I can just focus right
On the
away,
sound, you mean?
just on the sound,
Right.
and that's a whole experience in itself that doesn't give rise to me, experiencing profound equanimity or massive energy currents, but it does give rise to a very deepening religious experience all of its own.
Huh.
Um,
Interesting.
I could do something similar with, I could just skip the absorption and I can pick that energy and I can launch it.
Oh, I get you. Okay.
So I do not need to go through I can just start with the Kundalini right away. I
Okay.
can launch it and I'll have the same sort of effects without all the initial
Relaxation
body
component.
relaxation and without
Stilling of the mind
the
component.
great equanimity component,
Okay.
which is all nice.
Right.
Uh, but I can skip that, and I will at times go, I really need energy here, and I will intentionally bring that bring that
Okay.
energy through my body. I can
Well, I think that's pretty interesting. So here, I have a question before you continue on here, and that is when you do that, so it sounds like you've basically learned how to trigger different phases of this absorptive experience without the preambles,
right.
right? Which I think is interesting. So, but now the question that arises for me is when you can, let's say, stimulate energy on its own without the preamble, how long do you sustain that energy experience?
Um, I mean, I could sit here and probably sustain the Kundalini experience for. It will not be as potent.
Okay.
It will not be as potent, but I can. Yeah, I could sustain it for quite a fair duration of time,
So you're saying long periods of time, like a half an hour or something like that?
or an hour if I want
Okay.
to. Sure.
And have you done that?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you do that, does the experience deepen, enrich, and
Yeah. Yeah. I
okay,
mean, there will be a deepening and a progressive absorption, but it will be focused mainly on that energy component or on that sound component.
okay. Well, that actually brings up another question. So when you can just drop into the sound component, does it ever? And you spent any time in just triggering the sound? And
Yeah.
like what, a half hour, hour?
Hour, hour
Okay.
and a half sometimes.
Okay. And are you typically in a relaxed posture or?
I'm in a meditation posture,
Okay.
relax. I mean,
Okay.
just you know, hopefully I have enough background relaxation and just sort of absorption that I don't have to
Okay.
interfere with my body or stilling my mind also is hopefully it's
Okay.
got to, I mean, but in order to do this you already have to have a fairly, in order to even hear this you have to have to separate.
You have had use the term I.
Right, I mean I have to, should speak in general, I have to have the prerequisite of a, you know, a fairly stilled mind, fairly relaxed body to even pick out these separate
Right.
components to meditate on.
So then you have to have that preamble of the first and second stages in every experience, or no, or that you just have to have had a number of years of experience with the 1 and 2 phases to get to the 3 and the 4 phases.
Well, I think the 1 and the 2 can just become a back. They seem
Background.
to just become a background where, you know, if I do need to work with them for a brief instant before I can work on a 3 or 4 stage item, it's not hard, and it's pretty quick because I'm mostly always at, you know, the 1 level.
Okay, so I'm beginning to detect that there might be some misinterpretation of where I've been coming from, and that is I don't at all feel like every time people meditate they got to start at 1 and move up to 4. If you can drop into 4 instantly, why go through 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 3? However, you also said that 4 gets more significant if you do at least spend a little time in 1 and 2, and then go to 3, and then go to 4. So you're saying that for a richer experience, if you begin at 1 and move progressively through 2 and 3, then 4 becomes significantly more pronounced. Okay, but see. I have no problem with just jumping into 4, if you can do that, and it's as rich as it would be if you did it another way.
Yeah, well,
Does that sound
yeah,
make sense?
yeah. The interesting thing though is that say just focusing on a sound component, for example, these that has led to a deepening of a whole dimension that I wasn't, you know, initially so aware of, as I just initially just shot straight one through 4. I hadn't expanded out the experience of charismatic sound of 3, which has apparently, you know, many dimensions that I've yet to discover, because it continues to, in the experience continues to grow richer as I expand it more.
Well, among my case histories, what I'm finding, myself included, is that the more time we spend in formal meditation practice, the richer the experience and the deeper the experience becomes, the more blissful, pleasant the experience becomes, the more lucid the experience becomes, but also those charismatic phenomena that tend to originally, anyway, arise only in meditation, like this sound component that you're talking about, and the tactile component and the energy component, those things can actually, once you spend, let's say, once I and once my other subjects begin to have those experiences every time we meditate, and we're meditating at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, then we can actually bring those charismatic phenomena into our daily experience, such that, for instance, right now I'm hearing the charismatic sound. Mm-hmm. And when those charismatic phenomena are with me, and I also have charismatic tactile sensations with me in this moment, which would be, some people would describe as energy. I find when I can sustain those throughout the day, that that there's this tremendous comfort,
Yeah.
right? Consolation
Yeah.
is another term. I'm more relaxed, less reactive, which means that and my mind, one of the other things that I do is I endeavor to keep the mind still throughout the day. I endeavor to be mindful of all these charismatic phenomena and the stilling of the mind and keeping the body relaxed all day long, not just when I'm meditating, but I still meditate to reinforce that phenomenon. And you may, and it sounds like you're experiencing the same kind of thing, to maybe a lesser degree or whatever, or intermittent.
No. I mean, I definitely experience the phenomena of meditation, like the sound and tactile sensations. They do transfer over, but I have to modulate them to fit what I have to do in day-to-day existence. I mean, physical work and, you know, tactile sensations throughout the body, they don't go together so well. But what goes together
For you.
for me, what goes together is I'll just raise the energy, just keep it way up there, and I can push through, get a lot of lot of work done, put things done.
All right. Anything else?
I mean, I personally have had experience with downpours of light. Everything in that I was talking about in the jhana models is a culmination of energy rising up.
Okay, well, as you understand the jhana model,
As I
everything
understand
is
it.
rising up,
Right.
and then apparently you've had some experiences of the energy coming down.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I don't see how the jhana model rejects the downward motion or the upward motion. It's just charismatic phenomena arising as the product of meditation and stilling of the mind, and all kinds of stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right, up, down, sideways. There's stuff that we're all experiencing that were never described in the discourses of the Buddha. Well, for instance, chakras, right? Chakras don't appear in the discourses of the Buddha, but some of us are experiencing chakra phenomena. Are you, speaking of which, have you noticed, you mentioned chakras a little bit, so do you have any kind of sensory experience around the classic chakra locations when you're meditating and or otherwise?
You know, usually they're subtler energy centers, and I'm not really concerned about them because I'm more concerned about depth, right? If I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna go for depth, right? And but if I place my attention, if I will observe these different energy centers, and
So
they
there'll
more
be
or less correlate with the chakra model.
So there will be some kind of tactile sensation around those centers if you
Right.
brought your attention
If
to
I
it.
brought my attention to it, you bet.
Okay.
But I'm not usually doing that.
Okay.
So,
All right. Are we done?
sure.
Okay. That was very good. Thank you.